What is up, everybody? It's your boy Ren, and we're back with another episode of Xbox Game Pass and Review, your first look at the latest and greatest on the Xbox Game Pass network. Now, you will be noticing we're playing Citizen Sleeper again. However, it is Citizen Sleeper 2, the sequel to the one that we played just recently, because, we wanted to play the first before we played the second. They play things in chronological order, it is what it is. So we are going to be checking out this one today. Now, a little bit of an update, because I am not going to be doing a Ren's Play for Citizen Sleeper. I think either one of these, unless this one ends up being fully voice acted. Probably won't be able to do them. I realized after that first one, man, I killed my throat trying to read all of those words, and doing that for the 5 hours that I ended up playing the game for just is not going to work out. Also, a little bit of extra stuff that didn't get put in to that first episode because we found it out a little bit later. So the first Citizen Sleeper, right? Really good. I like the system that they have in place for it. I said as much on that field inspection. It does get kind of complicated, and it does feel like it intentionally slows you down. I get it, like you need to spend time doing things, and you have to make the choices on which is more important to you and prioritize this and that. And it was so depressing. Every time I thought I was getting lead, all of a sudden something came and just rained on my parade and ixnayed it, and I had to find a different solution to go about doing things, and it was a lot. I ran into constant problems, and also because it doesn't really hold your hand, it doesn't really kind of tell you much of anything or how to go about things. You end up missing things or not doing things sooner that you should have done because you weren't exploring properly. Things I will change in my mindset going forward with this one. So without further ado, we are going to go ahead and just hop right on in to Citizen Sleepers 2, the Starward Vector. No. Can I just new game? Okay, there it is. All right. Difficulty tutorials have been turned on. We are going to keep this at normal difficulty, risky, I guess. Death incurs a significant permanent death. Oh, significant permanent penalty. Dice repairs require more components. Broken dice cannot be used. Standard stress tolerance. Okay. This seems like it's a lot different than last time. Okay, here we go. So we will choose our frame again, our class. Reboot config, +1 stress, reroll lowest dice. Operators, sleepers are built to work with drones and remote machines over local networks to perform corporate resource extraction from a distance. Operators have expertise in working with interfaces and computer systems, but are more physically fragile than other sleepers. Their reboot skill allows them to hack their own systems to reroll a die. Reroll dice, a risky but potentially powerful move. Sleepers assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. Our endure is just not the okay. So they basically take out just whole things, the things that we can't even do. Ooh, this is gonna be interesting. Machinist, focus config, +1 stress, +2, and focus lowest dice. -1 stress on focus dice, positive outcome. I apologize if the music is a little bit loud at the moment. I can't actually turn it down because there's no settings just yet that I can get to. Machine sleepers are built to repair and modify automated systems used to corporate resource extraction. Machinists are very skilled engineers, but their isolated work means they often struggle with tasks requiring a direct approach or social engagement. Their focus skill allows them to focus on a single task and boost their dice to excel in it. Sleepers assigned to machinists usually are diligent, careful, and structured people. And then, of course, we have the Extractor. Extractor sleepers are built to work at the coal face of corporate resource extraction, often in hard vacuum environment, have a high level of physical endurance, but their confidence means they struggle with tasks requiring intuition. Their rally skill allows them to motivate those in their team, boosting their crew dice. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. I'm probably going to go with the same one that I went last time and go operator. That gives me interface skills. As much as I would love some engineering here, not having engage sounds ridiculous, but I can do without having endure, you know? So we are not voice acted. Good to know. In the moment before waking, the dark space before conscious thought, you struggle to find the pieces of yourself. Usually these pieces come with a peculiar cadence, each appearing sequentially, like the boot process of an old terminal. First, your body artificial, compromised, but relaying sense data all the time. Then its context, the breeze of air filtration, the soft contact of your birth in 0G. Then emotion coming into focus, coming into your body, bringing with it its first instinct, the one that has framed your past 100 cycles, fear. But that familiar sequence does not arrive. Instead, you are unmoored in space, your body distant, your context silent, even your emotions somehow obscured and scattered along all the disarray. Only one familiar thing arrives, the fear. It is a scrambled, panicked fear. The drowning fear, the falling fear, the fear that makes you reach desperately for any stable point. It is the fear that tells you something is wrong, something is very wrong with you. Wake up, sleeper, the voice is whispered in your ear, an act that makes you suddenly aware of your head, pulsing in pain, your body rigid with tension. Sleeper, a familiar name, a mind copied, emulated, a body built, implanted. One person sleeping until their debt is worked away. Their double being made to work, to be consumed, and eventually to be destroyed. A proxy, an emulation, a sleeper, that is what you are. But you escaped, you remember that now, broke free of your corporate creators, SNARP, in search of a future. You cannot remember the details of your escape, but you know the fear has been with you ever since. All of a sudden you remember you have eyes and your eyes flicker open. Pale eyes in a pale face, Lane. The name comes with its own specific sensation of fear, only you recoil from instinctively. One that you recoil from instinctively. Sorry to interrupt, a sharp smirk, but this ends here. You search your mind for more than a name. Is this how you reward me for my generosity? Lane is leaning over your horizontal floating body, looking down into your eyes. I took you in, protected you, gave you a purpose. You try to look away to the corners of your vision to find something you understand. Your body does not respond. But I suppose that wasn't enough. He reached into his pocket of his jacket and produced a small vial. This wasn't enough. The vial glitters, the object you know and have known for a long time, stabilizer, the drug that keeps your artificial body, your emulated mind, from inevitable decay. The only balm for your planned obsolescence. The liquid rolling in the vial fills you with disgust. Lane pockets the vial, but it would be wasted on you now after what you have done to this body of yours. He looks at you with palpable disgust. Lane's eyes scan your body. As they do, you become aware of your wires and tubes attached to you. Those that were meant to free you from your dependence, from the stabilizer and the control it grants Lane. They are free, you piece of shit. They don't need you anymore. The voice comes from somewhere behind Lane's head. It is a voice you know, but you search your mind to try to understand why. You find only dizzying darkness. Shut him up, Lane barks the command, and you hear sounds of impact, of pain from elsewhere in the room. You try to move your limbs again, and this time you feel a flicker, the twitch of a finger. You feel the extension and compression of synthetic muscle. Free, are you? Leon smirks. You were free when I disabled your tracker, when I gave you the stabilizer you needed. He scans your body with angry eyes. Now you aren't free, you are just broken. I had such big plans for you, Sleeper. I invested in you. Leon grips your arm and hard, and you feel the jolt of reaction. You will the arm to move, but you have ruined it all. Leon speaks louder over the sound of the struggle behind him. I will try to preserve your body, of course. I have my own uses for it, but your emulation? You feel one of his hands searching behind your head. He finds and grips the thick cable running into the port at the base of your skull. I will burn that out. Leon jerks forward, slamming across your body, then spinning away out of sight. You feel yourself rolling, the cables plugged into you, looping and wrapping around your limbs. Then you feel hands steady you, pulling cables. You glance around wildly and see someone diligently unplugging you. You meet his eyes. Hey, he waves a hand in your dazed face. We need to move. Lane won't be out long. He unloops the cable from around your waist. Sleeper, help me out here. You blink slowly. Do you know this person? He leans over you and you feel his hands on the connector flicking switches, releasing locks. Come on, come on, come on. He tugs the connector clear and pulls you up. When you see the room you are in for the first time, filled with tech and terminals, wires waving everywhere, all lit by big windows looking out to an impossibly bright, screen-filled street beneath you. Beyond. In the corner you see the dark shape of a floating body surrounded by a glittering constellation of crimson baubles. Is that blood? Move! You are wrestled and shoved towards the door, which slides open in front of you, and then you are out in all the brightness, all the movement. Gliding hard towards some unknown destination. You come to a stop in a dark alley. The one who guided you here, pausing to catch his breath, he doubles over beside a massive life support unit that sends a lukewarm breeze across your skin. You stare at him, trying to recall anything about him. You notice his tattered jacket, his lightweight clothes. You remember this station runs hot, something about the power that flows through this place. He looks up and meets your eyes. What's going on, Sleeper? You wipe sweat from his forehead and floats away in a swarm of spears. Talk to me. Where are we? Somewhere in the starward side. Not too far from the docks, I hope. You see a concerned frown across his face. That's not what you meant, is it? He comes closer, eyeing you carefully. What station are we on? He narrows his eyes and waits for the answer. You close your eyes trying to call. You force your way through the dark to the image of a station, no, a city, growing on the back of a vast set of hexagonal solar cells, shadowed by them. You open your eyes. Dark side. The word leaves your mouth like an exhale, an instinct. Before you heard yourself sound it out, you don't know it was there. He sighs. And me, who am I? You see something like fear in his eyes, panic perhaps. You stare at his hard face, the slight upturn of his mouth, the intensity of his stare. Nothing comes. He closes his eyes and drops his head, putting a hand to his temple. The reboot. He is speaking quietly to himself. Lane interrupted the process and he lifts his head and stares at you. We need to keep going. We need to leave. He turns and kicks off down the alley. Come on, the rig can't be far. As you are led through the passages and serviceways of the station, you try to recall your life here. The texture, the temperature of Darkside feels familiar, but you struggle to pin specific memories to it. Focusing hard, you recall waking up to these passages, cycle after cycle, the rhythms of the station flowing over you along with the crowds. You recall desperation and the slow decay of your body that caused it. Then Lane, those pale eyes, offering you a glittering vial stabilizer, the promise of supplying more for your work, a deal he locked you into like a cage. There your memory fails you, but in the dark beyond the moment, the residue of panic, of fear remains. You were Lane's prisoner, Lay's plaything. You shudder in the cold passage. Wait, your guide holds up a hand, and you stop your glide using the wall. Ahead, you see the tunnel opens up to a wide-open bay with a few doors leading to cylindrical tunnels, the docks. They're watching the rig. He nods towards the docks, and you see one of the doors has a couple of figures flanking it, one covered in ornate tattoos, the other with bright silver implants along his cheekbones. Utsubu, Lane's guys. He looks at you and shakes his head in frustration. All this, it's not coming back to you, is it? Something catches your eye and you see he is playing with a coin, nervously turning it over and over in his fingers. He sees you looking and slips it away. He places a hand on his chest. I'm Seraphin, alright? He looks pained when he speaks. Lane, he was our captor, both of us. We did this so we could escape. We needed to reboot you to break your dependence on Stabilizer. You know what that is, right? You nod meekly, but Lane interrupted me back there. The reboot didn't complete, and he sighs and shakes his head. We can still make this work. He looks back at the docks. I'll lead them away. You get the docking bridge open. If we make it to the rig, I know how to get us in. Got that? He searches your face. I've got it. Okay, get the door open. He pats you on the shoulder. I know you can do this. Seraphin kicks off hard and glides into the docks. Over here, shitheads, he bellows to the guards as he barrels through. They immediately push off from the wall, giving chase. You wait a breath. Okay. You wait a breath and glide across the door they were guarding. You look already panicked at the tightly sealed door, its control panel locked out. You hear a shout from somewhere nearby. You need to get it open. During scenes, you may encounter skill checks where you can perform certain actions using your skills, like the dice actions you will encounter later. Skill checks can have a positive, neutral, and negative outcome. The better the rating of your skill, the more likely you will succeed at the check. The odds of success are displayed when you select the check. You can see more info in the guide page of the pause menu. Hack the door, 50% positive, 50% neutral, neutral outcome, check passed. You shift to the control panel, trying to understand the readout. The door is on emergency lockdown. Somewhere you hear more shouting. Your fingers hover over the keys. You switch to the administration layer and begin flooding the door operation system with spoof requests, desperately hammering the controls. The control OS crashes and the door judders halfway open before failing. Go, go, Seraphim flies past you through the doorway into the docking tunnel. You turn to see two guards approaching fast across the docks. Quickly glide after Seraphim. Seraphim is already at the rig's door, putting in an entry code. The rig's door scissors open and you both rush inside quickly. Seraphim grabs you by the arm, drags you up to the cockpit. The ship's layout hazy in your mind. He dumps you in the flight seat and straps himself into his own. You see him tap a series of buttons as he does, talking to himself. Come on. The rig drive rumbles into life and Seraphim slams a button on the console. You'll feel the force of the ship's acceleration as it pulls away. So far, this has been an extraordinarily long intro, and I don't know that I actually really appreciate that. Like, the last one's intro wasn't, like, terrible. I think it only took, like, 5 or 6 minutes. This has been, like, 7 or 8, going on 10 minutes now, and it is still going. We still haven't gotten to any gameplay whatsoever. As the ship guides into place on the connectivity bridge, its automatic systems nudged there by the port's docking protocol, you feel a sense of relief. Seraphim burned hard out of dark side, and you dropped in and out of consciousness in your seat as the rig made its way across the belt. But now, with open space between you and Liam, you feel fresher, more awake. Seraphim breaks the silence. We're good, sleeper. His eyes don't leave the monitor, and you realize this part of the escape is routine for him. You and he must have docked the ship countless times in your work for Lane. The problem is you don't remember any of them. We made it, he whispers, closing his eyes and letting out a sigh. We certainly did. He turns and you see a pained look on his face as if remembering something difficult. Have you said this exact thing to him before in the same situation? Are you okay? He looks at you, chewing one side of his lip, searching your face. Not really, he puffs. Seraphim reaches up, flickering through a set of switches in a particular fashion, completing the shutdown. You watch a little frustrated with your own uselessness. Running the rig, you realize, is just another thing you've forgotten. A clunk that runs through the walls of the ship is followed by a short percussive alarm tone from a pilot's console. Docking complete. Seraphim kicks off from his seat, twisting as he glides past you towards the back of the cockpit. His hands find the rails on either side of the door, and he pauses, facing into the corridor beyond. He turns back to you, Batlick and cold cyan. We need a plan. He glances around. Leanne's not going to let us slip away quietly. He sighs. We need to talk. Seraphim furrows his brow. Not now, sleeper. We need to forget. He flinches, the words coming out wrong. We need to focus on something other than. He pauses again, unsure. Us. He sighs. We need to survive this thing first, and maybe we talk. We have bought ourselves some time. He glances through the cockpit window at the blinking lights of the station. You may not remember Hexport, but I do. There are plenty of opportunities here for us if we can keep our heads down. He turns back to the corridor. That's what we'll do. He pushes off and glides towards the main lock, and you follow, pulling yourself along hand over hand in 0G. We already emptied the tank on this thing. He slaps a hand against the ship's insides. So we need to refuel, and that won't be cheap. But if you and I know one thing, sleeper, it's how to work. I'm going to get myself reacquainted, so if I can turn up any old connections, people that might throw us an easy contract, he glances back, you keep out of trouble. Low profile, got it. Seraphim stops at the airlock, stopping the reboot halfway, though. He pulls a worn crew jacket from the locker and starts pulling it on. We don't know what that did to you. He jams an arm into his sleeve. I don't want you passing out. He stops. It'll take both of us, sir. I hate it when you write. He grabs another crew jacket and thrusts it at you. Just put the damn hood up, okay? Will you? You take it and you slip it on. Thank you. Seraphim nods. He stabs at the button to open the lock. The inner door hisses open and Seraphim glides through. Wait for a little bit, then leave. Anyone looking for us will be looking for two people traveling together. He looks at you in your worn crew jacket, limited disguise for what is clearly a sleeper. We meet back here later. Any trouble? Same thing. Meet here. He surveys your disguise again and shakes his head. This is a shitty idea. He gives you one last look. Maybe find yourself something to eat. Suddenly you recognize Seraphim's instinct to look after you. A flash of relationship now lost in the reboot. Catch. He throws a handful of something towards you. You manage to grab the projectiles, and when you open them, you see a sack of cryo chits. Though she gets you some food, we'll need some more fuel and supplies, he grimaces. That means odd jobs at the station for both of us. Seraphim kicks off and glides down the docking bridge. Don't go too far, alright? He shouts as he leaves. Take it slow. And with that, he is gone, leaving the connecting bridge and heading into Hexport's docking concourse. You wait for a moment in silence, make a plan. You try to think ahead to what might be coming. You'll need work. That is the first step, but then what then? Lane will be coming eventually. The sooner you can get some distance between you and Hexport, the better, so it's the best. So that's the plan. Rest, resupply, run. You shake your thoughts from your head and pull the jacket tight. Let's see what Hexport has to offer. You kick off and glide into the port. Okay. Welcome to Citizen Sleeper 2. The game runs in cycles, during which you can perform actions with dice, use cryo to buy food, fuel, supplies, and items, progress clocks towards new scenes and events. You can review tutorials anytime through the guide selection. So we need to take a look at what we have available. So there's only two here. So we have the docks and we have the exchange, and then we have the house, the rig. So let's go to this one here. Yep. You can perform actions by assigning action dice. The higher the dice you assign, the more likely you will succeed in them, but your dice will be modified by your skill. Skill modified for the action displayed on the right. It will reduce or increase the value of the dice assigned to the action. Like skill checks, dice actions have three outcomes: positive, negative, and neutral. Each action is also rated safe, risky, or dangerous based on the outcomes it has. The more dangerous an action is, the more significant both its rewards and consequences are. For more information, go to the guide. So, what we have is interface stuff. So, impress the brokers. The data brokers are on the heart of the exchange. They show off their knowledge by discussing decryption. Maybe if you could talk to them. That's actually a good idea. And since I have a 5 in it, that's going to make it a 6 because of the +1 in the interface. So that's a cool idea. That gives us a 2. Now let's go ahead and get the other 5 in here. Okay, and we progress the clock all the way, which gives us the trade hall here. So, fuel depots like this can be found at most stations, selling the lifeblood of the belts, transport, and tool. We can fill the fuel. If you have enough cryo, you can fuel your fuel capacity in a single order, and then filling supplies as well. Okay, so that's that. Let's go to the canteen here, where we can go ahead and eat. We have 24. Yeah, so we'll lose energy sometimes, and then at the end of our cycle we'll lose energy. If we're out of energy, any extra energy that we need to use will be taken out of our condition, which means that we're going to start losing dice a lot quicker. We should probably just go ahead and eat. That's going to fill us up. It does take most of our cryo, though. And then here... danger, explore the docks. That can be a little bit much. So let's go ahead and chat to the crews for 100% positive effect there. Export expert, we're getting there. This is actually extraordinarily risky. Oh my gosh, you couldn't hear me. Anyways, we missed a little bit of that. I apologize. We're in trouble, Sleeper. Seraphim leans into the bunks as you're getting in. Without further explanation, he disappears down the quarters to the rear of the ship. You drift out to the passage, pulling on your clothes, and glide down the length of the rig. The cool air making you shiver. Seraphim is a silhouette slightly in the way. He stops at the far end, diverting through a side door, shooting you a glance as he goes. You find Seraphim inside, holding one of a tangle of arm-thick tubes that were waving in the zero-G engine room. You know what these are? Fuel pipes? He shrugs. Close enough. These are the engine's feed lines. He waves one in the air, and before you ask, no, they aren't supposed to be waggling loose. What happened? And they must have broken loose when we pushed the ship hard on our way out of the dark side. We are lucky the reserve tank is empty, otherwise it would have been bad. But he pushes the pipe to the side. No feed from the reservoir tanks means the rig's range is limited to the local region only. He thumps the large lumpen housing of the engine. This thing can't take us anywhere far. So we fix it. That's the short of it. Seraphim whacks the engine housing again, harder this time. Not just been our run of luck. Just not been our run of luck, yeah. He turns and starts gathering the tangled feed lines, his frustration evident in the violence of his movements. We'll need a new set of these, that's for sure. He starts forcing them into crate. So how do you try to track them down? I'll take a look at things here and see if I can figure out another fix for the reserve tanks. He glances up from his work. From what I've heard on Hexport, Factory Row is the place to find ship fitters. Maybe you can do some recon while I sort this place out. It's on the other end of the station. Okay, I'll take a look. Seraphim keeps working. Wait, Seraphim, seemingly unsure. There's something else. He drops the feed lines and they float, waving in the air like tubular seaweed. I've heard word that Lane's on the hunt. He frowns. A message went out to everyone in the local radius of Darkside. He's looking for us and we can't leave. Exactly. Which is why we need those feed lines. I'm going to try to work something out. Maybe I can improvise a solution. I don't know. He looks down. I'm no ship fitter. But while I do, you go hunting, see what you can turn up, okay? He smiles a weak smile, get going. You leave the engine room and the clanking sound of Seraphim's cleanup efforts echoing through the ship. Fuel feed lines, that's the next step. You take a deep breath and head out. Okay. You choose to track and choose your objectives. The arrow on the top left allows you to select a drive to track. They're tracked with yellow markers. When you have two types, major and minor, on completion of a major drive rewards 2 upgrade points, and a minor rewards 1. Keep an eye on the drive menu as you progress to see where opportunities and objectives are available. So we definitely need to track that badly. Anyways, what I was saying beforehand was that here on the rig we do have the availability for stress relief, for energy increase, as well as switching exactly what people on our crew are out there looking for. We did go ahead and get some new kind of stuff unlocked here, did a little bit of exploration. This area, Factory Row, is where we need to explore next, but we're going to need chits, which means that we're probably going to need to do some work here, which is good that I have 5 here. Oh, because I do not have stuff in it. That's actually bad. So I can't even do endure jobs. That's crap. Oh, that's real crap, actually. Oh, I don't think that I enjoy that whatsoever. I think that's actually kind of a very despicable thing to do. Have something that you're basically completely locked out of sucks. But we do have the Hexport connections. As you're gliding across the docking concourse, you hear a scuffle, the noise of Ray's voice cut through the conversation, drifting out of the dark side shops. Oh, by the way, let's music volumes down, please. That would be cool. Also, large there, ambient sound effects down, thank you. Glancing down an alley, you see a huddle of figures shouting back and forth. You spot one man in the middle of the group, surrounded, pushing the others back as they grab at the bag slung over their shoulders. You don't like the way this looks, but then again, Seraphim told you to keep your head down. Yeah, there's really no good situation here for me, so I'm just going to watch it. You slip back from the alley, your interest is a little pressing yourself against the wall. This is not your fight. You look around to see if anyone might be coming, but most of the spacers are near the docks. You hear a shout and a series of impacts, and you turn back to the alley to see figures gliding straight down it towards you. You pull back as you shoot out and disperse into the crowds, a bag in one of their hands. Moments later, an imposing figure follows them out, stopping at the threshold to try a spot where the assailants went. He turns to you, suddenly spotting you lurking by the wall. You see those scumbags? The man shakes his head. Bunch of cowards. They headed into the docks. He squints at you a little, perhaps noticing you're a sleeper, new here, just arrived. The man laughs. He jabs his thumb over his shoulder at the alley. Welcome to Hexport. The man pauses. I've got to ask, you didn't have anything to do with those guys back there, did you? He gestures to the alley. No. Alright, he shrugs. I had to ask. The man pats his chest. I'm Femi. He unshoulders one of the bags and pushes it towards you. Here, make your suit useful. Let's head out. You get the strap of the bag over your shoulder and follow him through the docks, gliding past the concourse towards the connection bridges. He cuts down a side passage, looking back to check you are following. Then he stops at a docking bridge connecting to a dull green ship with yellow markings. You look out the viewing window at this old catamaran-like ship, seemingly built with two separate holes welded together. Symbol crash, he says, and you assume that's the ship's name. Femi, you're bringing in strays. A young woman, brightly dressed and stretching as she glides, drifts into the passage. She glances at you. No offense. Well, Nia, if you'd come to help, I wouldn't need to find a porter. He glances at you. No offense. Nia sighs. What are you on about? She glances at you. I'm sorry for my brother. She shoots him a glance for whatever he did. Nia, Femi murmurs. Enough now. He reaches over and takes the bag from you, that you were carrying. Nia rolls her eyes at you but stays silent. Factory Row wouldn't take these. Femi hefts the bag. I'm gonna load them back up. Maybe we'll find a use for them. Sleeper, he shoots you a look. Take my advice. Stop hanging around the docks like a stray. He slaps the button for the bridge door and kicks off along the docking bridge on his way back to the symbol crasher. Nia eyes you nervously. Did my brother promise you payment? I'm sorry, we don't have much to give. Nothing like that. Okay. She glances around awkwardly. Did something happen? Your brother was attacked? Nia's eyes flash. Really? My brother does have a habit of getting in trouble. It wasn't his fault. Are you sure about that? Things have been a little difficult. Sleeper, can I ask you something? Sure. Takes a deep breath and gives you a direct look. What is she building up to? Are you looking for crew? Sorry to be direct, but you seem like, well, if you're here on Hexport, maybe you are with a crew. Maybe your crew needs crew. Maybe you are looking. Why do you ask? Look, I'll be honest. Being on a crew with my brother is nice, but he is suffocating me. She frowns at her bluntness. I'm not a kid anymore, you know, but he still sees me like one. I want to show him I can handle myself. I need experience. I need to run some contracts. She gives you a determined look. What do you say? I'll think about it. I'm a good salvager, alright. You can use me. She smiles. I can spot things, find gaps, ways in. I know what I'm doing. Fenny taught me well. She glanced back at the ship. Just consider it, alright? Let me prove myself. Suddenly, a shout comes from the ship, echoing down the passage. Femi. He makes both of you nervous. Nia looks in his direction. I should go. Pushes off towards the docking bridge. I'll be waiting. Nia gives you one last glance as she departs, and then disappears into the docking bridge, leaving you alone in the passage. So, I'm gonna put this out there. This is a lot more long-winded than the first one was. Like, I get they're trying to like make a good story here and try to like get you into it, but God, this is a lot of text. And I know it's like a text-based RPG. Don't get me wrong. I'm not really all that upset about it. It's just a lot. It is a lot to take in and really do anything with. And that can be a bit of an issue for me, you know. It just is what it is. Search the row. Mostly in terms of supply and demand, but the door might be able to help you find the ship fitter you need. Factory goes with workers hauling materials through its zero-G quarters. Helping might win you some fans among the factories. Let's go with 5 here. I mean, so far it plays pretty similarly to the other one. It's just more long-winded, and it's a little bit of a slightly different concept. Alright, so we got that. More talking. Factory row houses you glide through its cramped passageways. Whatever its many bays and rooms once were, they now serve as containers for industry of every kind, whirring manufactories precisely engineer components with rapidly shifting arms, while scrappers hammer incessantly at the bent ship plates. Everywhere you look, there's an energy and activity, and for good reason. Hexport itself is built on the derelict fragments of a solar reflector, and even a small amount of energy generated by its remaining mirrors is enough to power city machines. It is familiar to you, of course, in a strange, far-off way, because the dark side, the place, and your memories of it are muddy haze, but it's hard to forget the glint of its hexagonal reflectors, 10 or 20 times more in number than Hexport's, and the wide flickering city growing on the back like a tumor. In comparison, Hexport feels provincial, but deep in Factory Row you can almost be back in the dark side, and then you see them tubes just like those suffering had waved in your face, the feed lines. You push over to the display window of the unit, mark Karsten's supply in block capitals cut from the hull plate. There amongst an angled shelf of oversized ship components at the feed lines, like some large biomechanical tangle of snakes. You slip inside where the sound of the factory row is a little screen and spot a large figure working at the bench, hunched over, concentrating. It seems he doesn't notice you enter. Hello? A sharp eye glints at the figure, looks over his shoulder. Can I help you? His accent is heavy, but unknown to you. Those feed lines, how much? There's a sharp clink as Kristen places his tools and the components against a magnetic plate on the wall. He turns with surprising grace and begins cleaning his hands on a cloth. Those sharp eyes scan you, but Carson's thick-set features do not betray the results of his assessment. Custom built those for a client that never collected. He looks at his hands while he speaks, checking for stray oil stains. You have one of the old Mevs then? He sounds out the letters in a way you don't recognize as he speaks. You try to call anything you know about the ship, but the memories elude. Perhaps Zephyr should have come along. I think so. He squints a little. Right. Look, Kraston drifts over to where you are standing, his imposing height evident. For a fellow enthusiast like you, he continues in a distinctive monotone, let's say a few hundred cryo on clean chits. He shoots a glance at the feed lines, 400, let's say to be precise. 400? 400, he says back, repeating your answer without emphasis. It's expensive, I know, it's a shame, but it's just what they are worth. He screws up his mouth a little into something that might be a smile. However, I'm more of a bartering type myself, anything. Barter sounds good. He nods sagely. There's a little favor I need a crew for, and well, you look like you might be a good fit. I know of an old Solheim wreck out there, very old, pre-collapse. It's tucked away in a dead zone, so no one's really cut it, he shrugs. Not only that, but Solheim derelicts have a habit of triggering nasty security protocols when approached by any unfamiliar ship, so it's been left well alone. But a salvager like you with an old Solheim rig, I bet it wouldn't even flinch if it saw you coming. I have a special interest and need for the old tech. All those Solheim ships had a data core, and while I don't care about the accounting reports or material ledgers or whatever they kept in the damn thing, I do care about the hardware. So if I was to find you back here with that data core in your cargo hold, clean, cut, and complete, well then I could see my way to doing a straight barter for those feed lines. Karsten pauses, sniffs the air again. You just need the coordinates. Let's do it. Alright then, he holds out a heavy hand for you to shake. As you automatically reach out, he grabs your forearm instead. He pulls you closer, squeezing your arm. Let's keep this one between us, alright? It's our deal. Before you can respond, he thumbs a little, driving your palm, those coordinates, and then he lets go of your arm, where you swear in what you swear is a wink. You take a moment to gather yourself, and by the time you do, a whirring fills the air. Kristen returns to his workbench. You turn and glide out of Karsten's supply with a glowing mix of anxiety and excitement at the pit of your stomach, and a cacophony of Factory Row in your ears. A contract. Sefren might even be impressed. You look at the drive in your palm and smile. This could be a route out, so you think of that, leaving this place behind in possession of an improved ship too. Suddenly a small but firm hand falls on your back, an equally small voice coming, hey, wait up. You turn to the passage to see a young woman, her hair waving from the rapid glide. She clearly just came out out of to catch you. She steadies herself using her shoulder. Sorry, wanted to catch you. I'm Junie. Her dark eyes flicker around nervously. You notice the portable terminal she carries, something data scrapers call a deck, and her backpack full of components and trailing wires. Turn away. Hey, she pulls on her shoulder. Give me a sec. Karsten, she says, he sent me to grab you. She smiles, the flat smile again. Wants me to come with you on that job. Her eyes shoot down to the drive in the palm of your hand. She smiles again. Why didn't you tell me? She glances back towards Carson. I guess he forgot. He does that sometimes. He looks sheepishly at you. He just grabbed me after you two were done talking, so Carson's always sending me on things like this. I guess he wants me to help you out, keep an eye on you. She pauses. I can be pretty helpful. So, should I meet you at your ship and you can tell me when you're ready to go? I'm not sure. She looks nervous. Sure. I mean, aren't you sure when you're leaving? I'm not sure you're coming. She pauses, thinking, I mean, Carson said I needed to go. She glances back at the shop's direction, and he does get pretty mad when people don't do what he asks. She shrugs. Well, let's see. Okay, she glances around. Carson doesn't like waiting, but it's up to you. She pushes off in ways, looking forward to working with you. She calls us back. What about the ship? Okay, I'll find it. No, that's not what I meant. Carson, keep up as if you deliver. No, this is not what I meant to do. No, I didn't want to take her at all. Whatever. I don't know what about this sleeper. Saffron looks nervous about the rig's windows as she finishes explaining Carson's deal, as well as Junior's offer to help. If this job was easy, Carson would have done it himself already. That means there's a catch. He frowns and stars, and there's definitely something going on with this Junie girl. What choice do we have? What if we could get the cryo together to buy the feed lines? Is that even possible? I found a contract board at the exchange further in station. We take on a job that might get us some of the ways towards buying those feed lines. Plus, even if we do take Carson's job, a bit of money to get ourselves prepared wouldn't be a bad idea. Fill up on fuel supplies and be ready for whatever comes. Do we have time? Probably not, but with cryo for fuel and supplies, we won't be going anywhere. Just take a look at the contract board, see what you think. While you're at it, you might want to see if you can scare up some freelance crew too. Many hands make light work and all that. Or we stop messing around, we take Carson's job right now and get it done before he can think twice. Seems like a whole set of bad options to me. Either way, still got work to do on the drive. Saffron nods in farewell. Let me know what you decide. For a moment, you pause, letting the haze of plans and ideas settle in your mind. Suddenly, you curl up in pain shooting along your spine. You grit your teeth, your muscles lock tight, your vision narrows as you squeeze your eyes shut. You feel a shift as if some connection has been broken. It's almost impossible to describe. Like you're floating away from your body, dispersing and dissolving. There is nothing familiar in the pain, nothing to hold on to, yet you grit your teeth. And then another shift comes, and you're back in your body, trembling against the metal wall of the passage. Pain slowly fades, becoming a pulsing throb and then a residual flicker. You flew in 0G, stretching out the tension. There's a strange sensation of distance that persists beyond the pain, a disconnection between your body and yourself, a flickering numbness that refuses to recede. You wonder if the reboot has done something to your body, or if this is some new sensation you will have to live with indefinitely. It strikes you that you know so little about the body that houses you. It could be moments away from collapse, or it might preserve for countless cycles like this. You try to shake off the feeling, pushing your hands against each other until you feel they are yours again. Time is the only thing you need, and right now it feels like you're running out fast. You head for the airlock. You have work to do. You've unlocked a contract. Open the map screen to view it. Gather enough fuel to travel to the contract. Gather as many supplies as you can afford to keep you and your crew growing. Look for opportunities to recruit crew, temporary or permanently, to help you on contract. Consider which crew to take carefully. They have different skills, and stress resistance where you choose can affect the story. Once you're ready, you can select the contract from the map. Okay, so we'll need 3 fuel, which is not a lot. That's actually quite a bit of ways. Because if we have only 5 fuel, it means we won't have enough fuel to come back. Which is odd. I don't actually like that. Let's go to him. I can't just talk to him, though. Swift scrap. It's constantly processing scrap for the factories. Scrapyard shift is engineering. Ah, data diffusal shift. Beautiful. Does give the option of at least a positive outcome. Gets 10 cryo. That gives me stuff. This is the contract board. Station management have located Conway signal. They are concerned to see one so close and are looking for someone to disable its source. Disable the signal source. Payment is 200 cryo. Open cryo check and hamper requires a fee to be paid to receive the coordinates of this job. And we'll come back to that here in a minute, right? Okay. And then we can also complete the board contract, which we probably will do at some point. That's the engine. We need those little thingamabobs there. Bunks. Sometimes it's necessary to rest, at least to try to compact. This will help you reduce stress when you're not on a contract. Okay, let's go ahead and end the cycle. Excellent. Not great on our dice rolls there. Wish that would have been a little bit better. Come on, where's our... There it is, okay. Swift scrap. Let's go ahead and take out... shoot. Might as well do this one. It's probably going to reduce my energy, which will suck. Neutral outcome, which wasn't terrible. And then run this one here. Positive outcome gives us 10 cryo, which is nice. Negative outcome energy, which means I didn't get crap for that. Warehouse, freight storage, but it's endure, and I can't do that. Let's get a thing of fries here. Gives us 2. Okay. What we will need... We'll go ahead and take the... We'll take the contract. Needed a restock on all of that. So we'll make the purchase there. There's at least 2 fuel. How long is it going to take us to get there? 2. So we'll need another 2 to get back just to make sure that we have enough. Which means we are going to need another job. We gotta work some more. Neutral brings us 7. And another neutral brings us 7 there as well. So means we need more of that. Okay, so we have the fuel that we need for it, just not the supplies. But I think that'll be okay. We'll go ahead in the cycle. Let's go ahead and work a little bit more here. I like the idea of working and getting some more cryo in, right? And then we'll keep these 3 dice for the trip. Which means that we can come in here and get an extra thing of supplies. As well as get some fries here to get the last of my health up. And now we can go ahead and go to that signal. Confirm the vector. We'll take Nia. He's locked. We'll travel to the contract. It's a drone. Seraphim spots the signal source first, the light barely shimmering off its dark hull plating, a design trait that betrays its covert use. A flash catches your attention, and you see a rent in the hole through which red light pulses. Wounded, Seraphim shakes his head. Wish they'd finished the job. Have you seen one before? Seraphim look back. We've seen one before, don't you? He sighs. Sorry, I know it's not your fault. He looks at the drone. Lane had us work on one in the dark side bay, though it was barely a shell, disarmed and deactivated. He had us searching through its gut for salvage. Even that one gave me the creeps, and had its cord ripped out. He pushes this one, is still alive. Conway, Nikki kisses her teeth. Corporate scum. You glance over at her and see the fire in her bright eyes. They don't even dare to come here and force us themselves. It's all proxies and drones. Typical core-bred cowards. Run into them before? She glances at you. Might say that. She looks out at the drone. You won't see me taking my eyes off that thing for a second. Seraphim carefully guides the ship closer. You watch the drone systems full of these things now, running missions for their operators. Rare to see one out in the belt, though. Maybe he got hit during a run-in with Senestat mercs. It looks like it's drifting. Most of the system's blown out, but look there. He jabs a finger towards a red light on the far side of the drone. It's still broadcasting and maybe even receiving. How do we shut it off? Seraphim brings you even closer. What I remember from the dark side job is that the central core and the broadcast array need to be shut off to kill these things. Core will turn off local systems, and the broadcast array will sever the link with the Conway operators, but you can bet those systems are protected. Let him explain. Your attention is suddenly drawn by a shudder from the drone, like a tremor running through its length. This thing is rigged to blow, Sleeper. We've got it slow and careful, and we don't touch anything we don't know about. Turns back to Nira. You hear that? I got you. She looks serene. Seraphim brings the rig to a stop, close enough for you to cross through open space to reach the drone's hull. Let's suit up. You head down to the airlock to prepare. As you get suited up, you think of the corporate war taking place in the inner system, the war that this drone was driven from. Out here on the shore of the conflict, the biggest danger is that this flotsam and jetsam drifting in, which the tides and orbits of systems might one cycle bring the war with it. For now, the belt is outside of its reach, but looking out at the red pulsing drone, that doesn't give you much comfort. Alright, first contract. While in a contract, you will be able to assign 2 dice for each crew member as you would assign your own dice. Pay attention to the crew skills to use them effectively. On certain outcomes, crew will take crew stress. When their stress is full, you will no longer be able to use them to perform actions. While on a contract, your energy bar will automatically be supplied for each cycle that you have available supplies. When your supplies are depleted, both you and your crew will take 1 stress per cycle. Contracts also have their own contract stress. When this bar is filled, the contract will fail. Good luck. Okay, so we have 3 supplies here. Okay, he's good at intuition, it looks like. And endurance. And she is good at scrapping and engineering, I think. Hull damage. Let's take a look. There's a gap in the drone sustains damage. With a lot of effort, it might be possible to pry away the plates and create an entry point. I'm not good at that. There is intuition here. This one's danger. And it could be pretty good here. Alright, 100% positive for there. Alright, so we got 2. Let's go ahead and hit another here. Another 2. Access. Good, good, good. Let's go with... kind of want to save her for other things. It's gonna take a while. Sweet, positive outcome for that as well. Let's go check this other one back here. Okay. Interface is great. Control access. Sweet, neutral outcome, which is fine. Another one there. While in contract, you can use your push ability to give you an edge in a tricky situation. Pushing your crew is one stress will give you key advantages based on your chosen class. You can see your current push configuration by pressing the left strike. Then, again, to trigger the push, your push can be upgraded and configured in the character screen when not on a contract. Okay. So, don't really have any more there that can be of use. Endure actually wouldn't be a bad... Ooh, stop that. Yeah, that doesn't give me a lot of confidence in this, but I'm gonna risk it anyways for the biscuit. Okay, so we got a broadcast access, good. Alright, for now, I just need to end the cycle. Alright. Oh, that's actually beautiful. Let's go over here. So, intuition, great. Let's go ahead and get the 6 played out here. Excellent. Pretty slick, right, Sleeper? Yep, yeah, you did a good job there. And as for you, we're going to go ahead and throw you in here. Smashed it. Good work. One more. There's a 75% chance that this works. Okay, so we got the neutral, and our stress increases. You will have higher chance of taking damage to your action dice each time you roll them. Okay. That's okay, because we got that. You hear the beeping immediately among the chambers, and Cloud something has started counting down. Guys, does anyone else hear that? Because I'm getting nervous. Shit, this is what I was worried about. Are we screwed? I can't be sure. Either this thing is about to send out a distress roll, or it's about to blow. We've got to shut the system down fast. Then we move on to the other side, because I bet you there's a surprise waiting for us there too. We good? Am I heading back to the ship or what? We're good, we keep going. He shuts off the channel. You take a moment in silence. Alright, time to deal with this fast, then move on to the other side. Okay, so we gotta deal with this thing. Hack the broadcast. Beautiful. 100%. Awesome. Array disabled. And now I just need one more. Make that a 5. Come on. Awesome. Disable the core, shut down the broadcast array. Once both are done, this combat drone won't bother anyone anymore. Okay. So that thing's done. That's just done and dealt with now. As far as this side goes... That's a 3. That sucks. That's a 3. That sucks. Okay. So there's certain things that people are good at and certain things that they're not. Drone stress. Crap. I got a negative on that, which is not bueno. This is not really what I wanted to have happen. But that's okay. we can go ahead and end the cycle and just live with what's going on. Alright. Now we can take a bit of our time here. Alright. This is gonna suck. Because all that's really here is this stuff. If I give you an opportunity with your 6, it still turns into a 4. Christ. It's still -2 because they don't have it. Oh my god, okay. It's just, it is what it is. It's not gonna be pretty. Okay, so we got some control access there. It's still gonna be, oh. This is gonna blow. Not literally, hopefully. Just figuratively, this is gonna suck. Okay. So we got 2 on the control access. We don't have a lot of time left here. So I'm gonna have to take the risk for the 4. And we got the control access. Okay. So what's this? Intuition. Glad I saved that. Oh my god. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Yes. That's 2. There's a 50-50 chance we either make this or we make it worse. We're going for it. Screw it. Oh, core disabled. Oh, thank God. The throbbing, pulsing interior of the drone still goes for the first time since you boarded it. You look across to Seraphin and Nia and share a smile. You exhale so loudly it can be heard on the ship's shared comm channel. The drone's done one less piece of convoy shit to worry about. Nia grins. We killed it. Don't get too excited. It was looking pretty rough when we got here. You make your way back to the hole. The drone now faintly rolling in one direction as the stabilizers offline. Nia catches up with you as you glide towards the rig. We make a pretty good crew, Sleeper. What will your brother think? Don't go ruining it by bringing him into this. Maybe he'll never find out. You reach the rig's airlock and take one last look at the drone's dark hole. It catches the light as it rolls in the vacuum. At some point in the near future, this drone will likely be smashed into pieces by one of the many asteroids of the belt. Spread across this place is twinkling dust through the piece, though the thought pleases you, as does the thought of all the cryo hexport now owes you. Time to go collect. You can now leave on the map. Leave. After docking Hexport, Seraphin goes to the controls and leans back in his chair. Nia leans over to you. Thank you, Sleeper. I know you took a chance on me. Glad to have you. She smiles an infectious smile. Feels good to make a contract work. No matter how we pull it off, it's hard not to agree. And it feels better when the Hexport courier comes with a lockbox full of chips. Lane may still be hunting you, but this should help the effort slip into the net. Suddenly here from midways, Nia. Femi glides into view, approaching from the docks. He fixes you with a stare. What are you playing at, Sleeper, here? Nia wanted to come. You go to speak when Nia drifts forward, cutting you off. Don't come throwing your weight around here, Femi. I can make my own decisions. She glances back at you. Sleeper took me at my word, and I'm grateful. Is fuming. Did they know? Well, if they are working for Sleeper, I hope they paid you well. Well, I asked, so... Oh, so they aren't paying you. Sephirin crosses his arm. Let's keep this civil. You realize this is the first time meeting Femi? He is meeting Femi. If you're being civil, seems like Naya's owed her share. Femi fixes you with a severe look. Pay Nia a share. You grab around a quarter of the chits from the lockbox and hold them out to Nia. She takes them sheepishly. Alright, we're good here. He turns to leave. Nia mouths a sorry and follows Femi across the docks. Seraphin watches him go. You sure know how to pick him, Sleeper. He shakes his head. He turns away and heads back along the docking bridge. I just hope we aren't going to end up a stack of cryo short when we need to get out of here. You know, it is what it is. You gotta make do. Once you completed a drive, you earn upgrade points. And you can do that in the UI. Okay. So, lets you upgrade your skills, you're improved, modify your dice. To the right, you can upgrade your push, the unique ability of your class. When upgrading your push, only one upgrade at each level can be active at once. You can configure which upgrade is active while you're in the hub. No dice damage on push rolls, reroll at 1. Stress of rerolls is 6. Yeah, okay. For now, it actually really frustrates me that it's completely just disregarded for endure. Like I can't do anything with that. I need 4 points to just upgrade. Oh my god, they made everything ridiculous. And they're not even like abilities, they're just boosts and stuff. And then, alright. That is actually probably going to be our time here. I'm not even going to waste the skill points there. So let's talk about it, right? Let's get a bit of our time here for this field inspection. So let's talk about it real quick, right? As far as the sequel goes, you always run this risk, right? When you make a sequel, you did really good on the first one, and it paid you enough money to make a sequel of the game. Or somebody invested enough money to ask you to make a sequel to the game, right? Keep the same formula. So here's why I bring that up. Sleeper 2 is an inferior version of Sleeper 1, the first Citizen Sleeper. I would rather play and go back and continue to play the original Citizen Sleeper. Here's the reason why. So firstly, this is much longer worded, more breathy than the other than the first Citizen Sleeper game that I played just a little while ago. It was short and sweet. It kept you to the point. Like, hey, just go along with it. This feels like a web novel on this one. Like they were really interested in telling a very deep and complex story. And while I understand I'm having to read all this aloud, which kind of takes it away, I'm ADHD. You give me a freaking wall of text like that and just keep it going and keep it going and keep it going and keep it going, I'm not going to read the text. Like, I'll be completely honest with you. While the first Citizen Sleeper, I was actually interested in some of the characters and the story that was going on. This one, I have like zero interest. Like none of this matters to me whatsoever. I really kind of just want to get here, do my contracts, do my little thing, and if I can skip through as much, text as possible, I will. And then they oversimplified everything. Is my next complaint here. The upgrade system and the way that you did skills wasn't bad in the last game. I think it made sense. A point to increase this, but you have different levels of the 1 points to get there. You had 2 points of upgrade to do this, 3 points of upgrade to do this, and that was all just your basic stats, right? But it made you better at doing things so you can choose how you wanted to operate and how you wanted to play the game. This completely locks you out of an entire skill check, right? That to me, off the bat, is an absolute no-go for RPG games. You cannot just lock people out of a way just because it's not in their class. That's absolutely ridiculous. That is a shoot yourself in the foot game design mentality. Like I don't like that whatsoever. This game feels actually very empty compared to what I was playing on Citizen Sleeper, the original. It feels like they tried to take it and they're like, okay, well, how can we make this more interesting and less likely, to like make you feel like super something or another. I don't know what they had in their mind, to be completely honest. It feels like they had a idea of what people liked about the first Citizen Sleeper and then took out like half of it because they thought it was not challenging enough or was too challenging, I guess, and then they just kind of took it away. It's kind of dumb. It's kind of dumb. Uh, I don't know here. One of my other things is, where's the data stuff? Like, you know how you could like hack in the first one, and we had interesting ones with like the nodes and using that system, like going through things. That was kind of a cool idea, and there's not a single one of that around. Like, I see the glitch maybe up top, but I don't think that's what I'm looking for. On top of that, there hasn't been any reason for us to like really necessitate our survival. There's really no stake here, if I'm being completely honest. In the first hour of the game, there is no stake to this whatsoever. You're just kind of like, hey, we're supposed to be running away, so like, let's try to do that as soon as possible. It's like, okay, and comparatively to the first game, I would rather play the first game than play this. I think this is not a good sequel. With that being said, let's go to the review. Ren's review here. Remember, we are doing this on a likability scale, not on a is it good scale. Casual gamers, 4 out of 10. Hardcore gamers, maybe a 5 out of 10. So here's the idea, right? While I have my complaints being able to play the first Citizen Sleeper, right? If you had not played that first one and known comparatively to what that is, this wouldn't play that bad, right? Seems like pretty standard RPG stuff. You just have to read a lot. That's gonna put the casual gamers at a very huge disadvantage, or you know, their rating a lot lower comparatively, because casual gamers, again, as we've said before, generally only have about an hour to an hour and a half of gameplay per session. So they're not just going to want to sit here and read walls of text. Like, that's not interesting to them. They're not going to enjoy that. And those of them that do, they might enjoy the way this plays out, but again, it feels empty. Even I understand it's only been an hour. Out of that hour, I've probably only played maybe about 15 minutes of actual gameplay. Everything else has been reading. Everything else has been reading. Like, it's not that fun. It feels like a chore. At least in the first Citizen Sleeper, it didn't feel so much of a chore. You got through your reading, you got the information you needed, it was helpful, it gave you hints, it gave you clues, it told you what you needed to do to survive, right? This has done none of that. This has done absolutely none of that. It's kind of boring. It's kind of boring. And I think casual gamers will realize that fairly quickly, and they won't enjoy this as much. Hardcore gamers are going to be in that same kind of a boat, with one stipulation: because they can do it for longer, they might actually be willing to read through the text to see if there's anything interesting that they can monopolize and capitalize on. The unfortunate scenario is that that's not going to happen. I don't think at any point in this game is it really going to be overly necessary to read every single ounce of dialogue in this game. It's just there to tell its story and to world build. Like, that's it. And normally I wouldn't complain about that, right? I'm a very big story, very big world building, dialogue, everything like that. But when it's text-based only, like, everything is text-based. There's no cutscenes, no nothing. You are just reading walls of text with barely any real interaction whatsoever with the way that these conversations are going, unlike, you know, the first game. It just leads to a very dry and boring game. It really does. This station doesn't have much going for it. I know you're supposed to hop station to station, and you're just doing contracts, you know, doing little things like that, trying to keep your crew alive, suffering through whatever hardships come your way while running. It's cool. You're not being hunted. Not really. You don't have to fight against your condition. You know, you have this new stress mechanic that doesn't really even seem like it's that big of a deal. There is nothing really pushing the character and the players to really care, and there's no sense of urgency. You're really just kind of meandering about. And in a game like this, I don't think it's the right way to do things. Um, so yeah, casual gamers 4 out of 10, hardcore gamers 5 out of 10. I'm gonna say it. If you're gonna pick one of the Citizen Sleeper games to play, you might as well just go and play the original Citizen Sleeper. Like, just skip this one. Don't let it bug you too much. Don't show too much interest. Play the first one. Enjoy the hell out of it. I certainly enjoyed what I played of Citizen Sleeper. I did not get through, a whole bunch of it. The reading eventually got me. I couldn't do it. It was way too much reading. I just couldn't do it. There's way too much going on that reading aspect of stuff, and that was after 5 hours. I got tired of the reading after 5 hours of that. I'm tired of the reading maybe 45 minutes into this one. That's kind of where we're at. Anyways, so yeah, skip this one. To be completely honest, one of the few times you'll hear me say this, very few times, because I think every game is worth a try generally. I would honestly say skip this one, even though it's got a 4 and a 5. I'd say just go ahead and skip it. If you want a good, enjoyable one, I'd much rather you play the original Citizen Sleeper, and I'm glad we actually played it instead of just playing the new one that dropped. Yeah, little disappointed in the sequel here. Little disappointed. Anyways, that's going to be our episode for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this type of content, make sure to head over to the YouTube page. That is youtube.com/RensWorld, where you can find all the other fun and exciting Xbox Game Pass and review segments. You have the other field inspections that are out there, our first looks at the games that are on the Xbox Game Pass, where we look at the gameplay, story, all the stuff like that, and I give a rating about what type of players would enjoy this, casual and hardcore gamers alike. You also have the double take, just in case the field inspection wasn't quite enough to give us a good opinion, or we want to validate those opinions. We take a second hour to go ahead and look at the game and be a little bit more critical second time around, and really kind of dig into it and see if we can come up with an opinion. You also have the bottom line up front. Those are 10-minute reviews of the good, the bad, and the ugly, in my personal opinion, on some of the games that we've spent a little bit more time in without as many spoilers. And then there's also the Rens plays that are over there, which are games we've spent a lot of time in. Generally, those are hour-long episodes, 10 to 20 episodes apiece, and there's lots of different ones that are out there. So much good content is out there. If you're interested in checking it out, go over to the YouTube page. It's super fun, super cool in my personal opinion. I would appreciate you guys' support. You can also check us out over here at the live stream at twitch.tv/RedKnoxRage. That spelling will be on the right hand of the screen for all of you people over there at Station YouTube, Space Station YouTube. There you go. The USS YouTube. Do I want Star Trek, or just it doesn't matter. For those of you in the stream, well, congratulations. You don't have to suffer through an insufferable second edition, or that sequel, to find good content, because you're already here. There's no wall of text that's going to keep you from enjoying your time here. These bits are getting weird, but I'm still doing them anyways. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do greatly appreciate it. My name is Ren, and we will catch you on the next one. Latest.